All right. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. This is your host, Crystal Jordan, and we are here midweek, well, a little after midweek, with a reality check exclusive. I'm so excited to see all you guys already ready for the couple of the hour. I know we're excited about tomorrow night's Ready to Love reunion finale. However, this couple that's joining me today, we already know that they're doing their thing. We see them on social media. Their love has everybody excited. Everyone is chiming in that we love this couple. It's our favorite couple. So we had to have them join us a day early. You guys, please help me welcome the very beautiful Liz and the very handsome Jason.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
You guys look like you're ready. You look like you're in sync. You're matching. You got the red and black behind you. We are ready. Well, first of all, thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, so many people have reached out to us today, excited to see the two of you guys together. We have a huge audience that loves this show, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that people are always hoping for is that couple that kind of restores their faith in love for themselves. And so far, what we see is that in the two of you guys. How does that feel?
Well, it's a good thing, because one of the things that I said during the process was, a little bit younger, that I stopped caring. I stopped, feeling that, that sensation for marriage, and to meet a woman that, has her P's and, lined up and silly. No, but seriously, that's serious, and she's straightforward, she's transparent, she's trustworthy, and it seems like she's heading down the same direction. So for me, it was refreshing, and that's something that I haven't felt in a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just giddy. Forgive me.
Go ahead, Liz.
Yes, I would definitely say it's overwhelming. Very overwhelming to get the inboxes and the comments, and that we're restoring hope, and it's like, oh wow, I didn't know. You don't really think that your story is going to do that for so many people, because when you come into the process, it's like, okay, you don't think about, the outcome and the effect that it may have. So it's very overwhelming. And, I just consider myself blessed to be able to find someone like Jason who has captivated me. His heart, his belief system, his love for God, just not only that, but just who he is as a person. He is a genuine, good person who, I'm very, hopeful.
Oh, appreciate it.
Like, they got the butterfly still, guys. This is a good sign. This is a very good sign. I think why people are so excited, and I say even myself at first, I'm not gonna lie, I did not see you guys ending up together at first, right? I was watching, I thought you were both were going to end up with other people. We'll get into that in a minute. But I felt like as time went on, I got a chance, I could really connect with Liz. I understood. I have a lot of friends that I feel like can relate to you, because you were very honest about, we could see your heart. Like, this is like one of those times where the good girl wins. And that doesn't always happen today, right? In today's world, the good girl is not always win. We know that people always say nice guys finish last, but this was this opportunity for the good guy and the good girl actually found love. And I think that's why people are so excited about you guys.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're so giddy right now. So let's start. Let's go back to the beginning, because there's so many questions that we have. But I'm always curious to know, where were you in your dating story that would make you open to doing this show? And I want to start with you, Liz, because you definitely are a little different than some of the women that we've seen in the past. Yeah. So I wonder, what was it about this opportunity, and where were you in that place that made you be open to a situation that we haven't really seen a lot of this. Hasn't really been successful for a lot of people, right? A lot of people have gotten a little bit of fame, but not very many people have really found love. So what was it about this show and that time that made you say, let me take this chance?
Well, first and foremost, I don't do reality shows. I don't watch them. I don't look at them. And my journey, the 17 years.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Liz.
That's Lord help. It has been very difficult.
Yeah.
Also rewarding, sometimes arduous, and sometimes fulfilling. And so at this state, at this stage, I was just at a point where I just said, you know what, forget it. I might not, never get married, might not have kids. Let me think about adoption. Let me think about just, hey, Lord, just send me a lover. Forget it.
That's real.
I'm not trying to do right no more. Send me a lover. I was done. That's how I was feeling. I was done. And my friend, one of my best friends, she called me up and she was like, Liz, you need to, she always tried to get me to do stuff. You need to audition for this show, Ready to Love. Her name is Tori. Shout out Tori Taylor. But I was like, no, I'm not doing, anything, pertaining to reality. I don't want to do that. And so she kept calling me. And also, coincidentally, I was receiving emails from the, what would you call
like the casting
calls. And I had seen these emails come through and I was like, whatever, I would just delete them. And then when she called me up and told me about it, I was like, I'm not doing it. And she said, Liz, the third time, she was like, Liz, why not? You have been in this game for a long time. You've tried everything else, online dating. You've done everything you could think of. You never know. Why not this? Try this. You might meet someone and you never know what might happen. Someone will see you. That's true. And so I was like, okay, forget it then, fine. I did it. And to be honest, let me tell you something, Chris. To be honest, I wasn't even supposed to be on the show.
Really?
The reason why I say this is because I auditioned beginning of last year around February. And they were casting for season 3. And I didn't know at the time, but also our season 4.
Okay.
So I went through the finals. I met everybody. I did all the tests, everything I needed to do. They called me up. A producer called me up and was like, hey, you're an alternate. So if someone falls out due to COVID or what have you, you'll be in that position. I said, okay, great, cool. A couple of months down the line, they called me up again. It was like, hey, Liz, we've already cast for season 4, full, but you're still an alternate. Are you still interested? I was like, okay, cool. And they said if we cast you, you'll know something by December.
Okay.
December came and went. I forgot about the show. I went on by my life. That week in January, I think it's like the second week in January, at the top of the week, I got a call from a producer and they said, hey, Liz, are you still interested in, being on Ready to Love? Are you still available? I'm like, yeah. They said, well, we think that we might have a spot for you. You're still, alternate, but the thing is, if everything turns out well, we start filming this Saturday. So I had to do my COVID test. I had to, quarantine. And so they're asking me to sign this, sign that, submit this, submit that. I said, okay, cool. So Friday morning comes around and I'm like, okay, am I cast or what? So I called one of the talent producers and I'm like, hey, did I get cast for the show? Because we're filming tomorrow. And
like, do I need to be there?
Yeah. She's like, yes, you're cast. I'm like, oh my God. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Wow. That again, Liz has just given us another testimony. When they say what is for you, is for you. Nothing can stop that. That is amazing. That is amazing. So Liz, before we move to Jason, I want to ask you because you mentioned the 17 years. And I mean, most women, single African-American women, understand how that can happen, right? It can men don't usually go that long. Women don't always, but I understand how that could happen. Just dating and being out there, and especially if you are trying to do things a certain way, right? Especially if you have standards and you have if you have moral beliefs, or if you have Christian beliefs, I can understand how that can happen. But can you tell me, in your words, what do you think was the cause of you being single for that long, for 17 years, that period of time?
A lot of things factored into that, into my 17-year journey. A lot. Coming out of a young relationship, having experienced everything that a marriage or an adult would experience at the age of 23. I had to come out of that and get healed from that. That took a little time. Afterwards, I started going full speed with my career. And so I was really intentional about my career, production, and entertainment. And so that took some time. At the same time, while I was pursuing my career, I was dating and I was getting to know people, but I also had to learn about myself. I had to learn what I was doing wrong in the dating process,
right?
What I was saying wrong. I had to learn how to treat a man. I had to, there was self-growth there.
Yeah.
And ran into some people that were not, a fit for me. There were moments where I ran into a couple of guys where they were ready to get married right then and there. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. It was a lot of stuff I had to learn. I had to learn about what is it that I want. And I do want to make this clear. Yes, my desire has always been to please God and do this thing right. But let me tell you right now, I was not. Listen, I was not perfect. Someone said Liz been celibate for 17 years. That's a lie.
Liz ain't say that.
No. And there is a difference between celibacy and abstinence. I said abstinence.
Yes.
Celibacy is someone that is going to commit to it no matter what. They're not interested in relations.
Right.
Abstinence is someone that is committing to that for a certain amount of time or up into marriage or what have you. That's what I said. Now I've had experiences.
Right.
Not many, but I had. But the point is, that's my heart's desire, and that was a difficult thing when you meet guys that's not willing to, go with that. And I'm like, okay, so that's my process.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And like I said, I'm excited because I think a lot of women can relate to you. I don't feel like that's always the story that we hear, right? We don't always hear the woman that's really trying to do the right thing. Like, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, and we don't see that woman find love and actually. There was a moment where you just said God didn't forget about me, and I was just like, oh my God, like everybody just wanted to cry. So many people could feel that could relate to that moment. Jason.
Yes, yo.
Jason, first of all, can I just let you know publicly how much I appreciate your candor as a man, right?
Yes.
You had some scenes. You were just very authentic, and this is a show that we don't always see men be 100% authentic, right? We see men try to, and I get it, men are trying to be cool and try to kind of play the role, but we saw you set an example of a man that was truly authentic and truly was there for the right reasons. And I just want to really commend you, first of all, for that before we get into your story. So first of all, I remember one of the first scenes I saw you and Alexis, and she mentioned that you were her son's basketball coach, right? And I was a single mom for a while. I know a little bit about basketball coaches and all barbers and all that. You guys run into a lot of women, right? A lot of single moms, basketball coaches, good looking, tall,
Yeah.
Jason, how did you end up on the show I know you had to come in contact with a lot of women, especially working with children, and women love men that love children. So I'm just surprised that you were on the market.
Well, the realization of that is, so I have a nonprofit organization that I run, and her son was a part of it. And so I've known Alexis for about a little bit over 2 years now.
Okay.
But how I got on, and the reason why I was in the market is because, you know, I got out of a bad relationship, I want to say 2019, mid 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout that whole journey right there, I was, man, I don't want to date. I'm done. I'm solo dolo. I'm going to keep it to myself, man. I'm going to worry about this money, that type of thing. And
Yeah.
I had a friend that just kept saying about, you know, it's the show, they're casting. I think you'll be a good fit. You should just apply. And I was like, nah, I don't care about no TV stuff like that. But they were very persistent in it. And I, just to appease them, I was like, look, give me the application. They gave me the app or whatever, filled it out. And I was like, all right, now leave me alone. 3 weeks later, you know, production called me. It's like, hey, are you Jason Hearns? Blah, blah, blah. You know, we think you'd be a great fit.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was like, I don't really know. You know, that's not really the, you know, the direction that I take. You know, I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I run a profit. So I don't even know if I had the time. And they're like, okay, well, just think about it. And I think, I want to say they called me maybe like 2 or 3 more times. And finally, I was just like, you know what? I hear what you have to say. And then towards, I want to say 20, you know, COVID hit.
Yeah.
Around summer's coming around. And they told me, you know, we really want to cast you. And they're like, we'll do something in the summer. The film will be in the summer or whatever. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I'm off in the summers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they switched it around and said, oh, no, it's going to be later. And I said, no, I can't do it. Because I have a career, you know, and I run a nonprofit, man. There's no way I can, you know, make the time for that, you know. Okay. But COVID, man, it hit hard. When it hit hard. You know, a lot of businesses closed. I had to stop my nonprofit. So I had a lot of time on my hands.
Wow.
So they called me back at around January, I want to say, just late December, early January, and told me, I was like, you know what? You guys are persistent as hell. What the hell? Let's do it. So that's kind of how my journey was to it, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
But both of you guys almost didn't, because it sounds like they were casting for both of those seasons. And I gotta say, I'm glad you guys were not on season 3. It was just, you know, COVID just caused a lot of things. There was a lot going on in that season. So I'm glad you guys were not on that season and actually made it there. But again, it's just a testament to what's for you won't miss you. Jason, you mentioned that you were, I apologize for my dog.
No, go ahead.
We love Burbank.
You mentioned that you had just come out of a relationship, and it sounded like you had some characteristics of a guy that had gone through a little bit of heartbreak. And I think men don't really talk about how they feel after, right? So, because with you saying, I'm good on dating, I'm just going to get this money, that kind of sounds like somebody that, you know, was at the very least was disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. So like in that, in that relationship, of course, you know, I was invested, you know, things went left, of course, you know, headbutts or whatever. It just didn't work, you know. And I think, you know, for me, I'm 36 years old. So I guess I'm at that stage where it's like, you know, I start developing this mindset of, man, if it ain't work by now, man, whatever, you know. So, and I had a lot on my plate, you know, with, of course, my career and just things. So I lost sight of, you know, dating. I lost sight of, you know, really trying to build relationships. Now, I went on dates and I saw people here and there, but it was nothing serious. I wouldn't allow myself, you know, to, you know, let it progress or anything like that. I was just so focused. So
what did you think? What did you think when you heard Liz had not been in a relationship for that long?
So I'm gonna be real with you. In that moment, I was like, yeah, right. 17 years. 17 years?
Yeah, babe.
I know, but I was like, you know, just looking at you. I ain't gonna lie, the way you was looking.
I mean, I was in.
You're a good-looking woman.
Thank you, baby.
So to say 17 years, I was like.
I mean, I dated.
Were you giving her the side eye like?
I dated extensively, but
it wasn't until we sat down and we had a conversation and she broke it down to me and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because the way that, you know, production and, you know, people talk, so sometimes you got to sit down with the actual person, hear what they have to say, and it makes sense. So In her defense, that's what it was, you know. But when I first heard about it, I was like,
he thought I was crazy. He thought I was a monster.
yeah, for real. They not called her that.
Well,
That is monster.
That's what guys would think when they hear something like that, because men are not usually single for anywhere near that length of time. You can see men don't really do it like that. So I knew if he didn't say that, I was gonna be like, I call BS now, because any guy that hears that is gonna be like,
yeah, for real. Because I like when she said we was talking and she was like, yeah, 17 years, and I was like, yeah, I heard that, man. Typically, you know, maybe 2-3 years, but anything after that, especially with your age range, you know, you're young, you're successful, you still got your looks, you know, you're healthy, you at your peak. You're a monster, man. Like, you out here cleaning up in the streets. You know, but honestly, it wasn't the case. She really genuine. What you see is what you get. Yeah. I think that, of course, I know television is very scripted and it's different, but there is the authenticity that comes across with both of you, you know, that I think people connect to. So I think, but women got it, especially women that, like I said, have gone through that. So let's get into the show, because like I said, I did not predict either of you ending up together, especially in the beginning. Liz, I think this season there was a lot of conversation about Christianity, and that caused a divide, which was interesting, you know, to see that play out on the show. But I remember seeing the connection that you had with David because of both of you guys having that religious background and you understanding some of what he was saying. I really thought, oh, wow, that makes sense, because there are not a lot of times where people come into a situation with that moral foundation. We don't really see that a lot, especially on reality TV. Yeah. And in the same token, we saw, you know, Jason, you know, obviously we saw you and Kyra. So it's kind of like you guys were the surprise couple that came out that we didn't expect, but it's beautiful. So talk a little bit about that. What did you guys both think when you got there? Obviously, Jason has been attracted to you, Liz, the entire time, because his eyes did light up every time he saw you on, at least from what we saw on screen. But talk about what you first thought when you first saw everybody when you got there. I'll start with you, Liz. What did you think when you got there? The different guys that were there. And we know y'all, now, first of all, hold on. We know y'all can't be 100% honest because you guys are together. So we know that you guys can't tell us how you really felt about the other people.
No, we can't.
I mean, so here's the thing.
I mean, we're very honest.
We cannot talk about anything that has not aired.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
So
right.
There's some things that we'll let you know. I do that, and I'll let you know now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so. Yeah.
Okay. We start with me or Jay?
We'll start with you, Liz. What did you think when you first got there? Who did you think was attractive? Who did you think was interesting?
Okay.
What was your thought process?
So when I first got there, I was nervous as hell. Okay. I was nervous. And so the first person that I saw, which it calmed my nerves, was Troy, because I know Troy from years ago. We used to work together at an electricity company.
Okay.
And so I was like, whoo. You know, it was kind of like an icebreaker for me, and it was a surprise. And so I talked to Troy for a little bit, and I will say this: like, me and David were Facebook friends before the show. Okay. So I liked David from Facebook. Like, I liked him. I was like, oh wow, you know, I saw some of his videos, and I thought he was seemed like a really good guy. And so when I saw him, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Facebook. So that was a shock. So David, that was the second person I saw. And the third person I saw was AJ. So here's my
ran over there to you.
AJ. So AJ took me by surprise, because I was like, oh, you know, everybody, you know, it was so many tall guys on the show.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know what to expect, you know, when I got in, because I was like, yeah, I might not even be attracted to nobody, whatever. So I saw AJ and I was like, wow. And you know, typically, you know, I think if you're a nice looking, good looking man, good looking woman, you're good looking, no matter skin tone, right? But typically I'm attracted to light skinned, yellow bone men.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, anyway. So I was shocked. So I was attracted to AJ, and then I saw Jason. And when I saw Jason, I was like, ooh. I was like, woo. So I was attracted to him. Not just.
So Jason is your type. Jason is your physical type anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, he's my physical type. And then the last person I saw that I was attracted to was Joel. Yeah.
Yo, baby.
Baby. Yeah. So those were my connections, and I made 2 other connections with Dietrich and Chris, but it was more on a friendship level. But yeah, it was some good looking, prospects.
Who did y'all pick?
Huh?
All the, you know how y'all all got together and y'all picked y'all picked the top 2 males.
Oh, he was my number 1 from the mixer, and it wasn't. Yes, from the mixer, he was number 1, and yeah, and it was his conversation that just took me by surprise. I was attracted to him, and yeah, I was like, "That's my number." You know, you put your little stars on the.
Yeah.
He had 5 stars.
At the time, I didn't know.
He didn't know. Of course, he didn't know in that moment. But for me, yeah.
So he was already in your top, but obviously you were attracted to David as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and several other guys. Y'all did have a good pick.
Yeah.
a lot of good pickings.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think, Jason? You get there and there's all these beautiful women. Yeah. Who are you first attracted to when you first get there?
So I want to remember. So I walk in the door, and of course they take you into this room, and they prepping you, putting your mic on and everything, and they're telling you your do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm a pretty confident individual, so I'm like, all right, I got this, But so I walk out the room and I see like this big old glass, and I see the women and the men out there, and I see these cameras, and I'm like, oh.
Real.
Yeah, so now that's when the nervousness came in, and I'm like, man. And then one of the producers like, yeah, it's on you now, big dog. What you gonna do? And so I walk out there, and I think the first woman I saw was Stacy, and I was like, oh wow, they got some beautiful women here. And then I saw Vernisha, and then Tressa, and then I think it was Chrysanthemum. So it was like, oh, I'm like, ooh, they really did good. I see AJ, I see Joel with his shirt open. Like, I was sitting there like, man, I thought these dudes said we had to wear suits and the boy up in here looking like, like straight out of the Amazon, man. I want to dress like that. But so that's, my initial, I was a little nervous, but I'm the type of person, all I need is like a moment to reflect. So, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm here.
Yeah. And
go away. So let's just, let's get it. So my goal was to just talk to all the women.
Right. Right.
And get phone numbers, which I did. I did exactly that. I think the only person I didn't speak with was Andrea. And when I first saw Liz, of course I saw her from a distance because I believe I was over there with Amber speaking. And she was just giving me her backstory, and I was doing the same. And I see Liz from a distance. I'm like, man, that's a baddie right there.
So is Liz your type also? It seems like you guys were each other's physical type from the jump.
I'm gonna be honest, black women are my type, whether you light skin, brown skin, red bone. That's not for cool points or anything.
Yeah.
But if you're a sister, I'm a shoot my shot,
You're open.
But yeah, she is my type. I do love the curly hair. And I love your smile too. So, and you do look good too.
Oh, you guys.
So yeah, no, I see Liz, and I'm like, wow, like this is a baddie right here. This is what I'm saying to myself. And I'm making my way after I finish with Amber. I'm trying to make my way over there to Liz, but I think I want to say production came over there. And then some other women came over there. She was just being pulled away, you know? And I'm like, man, I can't get to her. I want to get to her for some odd reason. I can talk to her. But every time I try to get over here, something. So I ended up saying to her, I got eye contact with Liz, and I was like, what I said? I said, I'm coming for you, woman. I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna get to know you, you know, basically.
Yes.
And she looking at me like she was smiling, yeah, but like, bold. So yeah, that's pretty much how that was. I was surprised because even after that, of course, they did the elimination. Mm-hmm. I think the first elimination was with
the two guys.
The first one was Khalil. Was who got
Khalil? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Christian.
Was it
Khalil first, then Christian?
Yeah. So I guess you know how each season, you know, that all the whoever's being eliminated, the sex group, the males we're being eliminated. You know, all the women, you know, they select the top 2 males.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
We were safe from elimination.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So they picked Joel and myself. Yeah. And then they eliminated Christian and Khalil.
Yes, Christian.
So me and Joel for the first week was safe from elimination.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started for me.
And that's how it started. Well, now we got to get into how it continued, right? So it started that way. Now we got to talk about how it went after that. So Liz, I'm gonna go back to you. Like I said, it seemed like she's like, you know, we got to do ladies first. Ladies first. Yeah. Talk to us about, because I love the fact that you were being authentic and were committed to being honest throughout the whole process, even when this show really isn't set up for that, because you're dating all these different people. And, you know, you don't have to tell people what you're doing on different dates. But when I saw you tell David that you had kissed Jason, I was like, wow, she really is committed to being honest in this. And that doesn't always work well, because, you know, you could get eliminated. If you piss somebody off, they can eliminate you. Yeah. So talk to us about what made you decide to do that be that transparent, even when that isn't necessarily needed to play the game that way.
I feel like that honesty, I'm telling you, it's always the best thing. You know, I say honesty is the best policy. Mm-hmm. And I really believe in that. And so my thing was, you know, I don't want to sit up here and tell David, you're my number one, which he was at that time. Mm-hmm. And then I go out on a date and I kiss someone else. And then if I didn't tell him that would make me look like a gamer.
Yeah.
This is a competition. Okay, it's a game. But me knowing, number one, that I have told this man that I don't want to look like I was lying. I don't want to look like I'm playing games with his heart. Like, that's not my intention. So it was more of a respect level to let him know. Now, I do realize I did not have to tell him anything.
Right.
Realize that. But I knew that, you know, he was going to meet with the men. I didn't want him to get blindsided. And then he's like, oh, that happened? That would do to me more damage to a person's emotions or feelings if they had, you know, feelings evolved for you, than just me coming out and telling you the truth, regardless if it hurts, regardless of what you may feel about it. And so I didn't want to do that. You know, I wanted to be upfront and honest. And I feel like, you know, I expected that in return. It didn't come the way I thought that it was going to come.
Yeah.
But it came through a different avenue.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason, how did you feel when you found out that she was that honest, and she had, because he said it in the you know, you guys were in the man cave, he brought up that she had told him that you guys kissed, and then his response to that, how did you feel watching that as someone that cared about her and seeing how he responded less than graciously to her, you know, her being honest?
Woo. So in that moment, it was a hard sit, because before even all that, like, I will say this, we were in there for about 8 hours.
Oh my God.
There was a lot more that was said that wasn't shown. But so I want to say that was the first kiss in the whole season. That was okay. So when me and Liz kissed, that was the first kiss. And of course, at that time, I knew that David and Liz had a strong connection. Of course, mine at that time was with Kyra. And I didn't know if she was gonna tell him or not. But when he came out and said it, I was like, whoo. And the reason why is because it was already a lot of tension.
Okay.
And there was a lot of other things going on. So the way it would have looked, because it was like, here you got the youngest guy in the process, and he kissed Liz. Liz is probably one of the ladies in that moment that was probably one of the most talked about, and of course Kyra. So then it's like, oh, he has a connection with Kyra. It may look like, I didn't want to look like I'm playing games or anything, because that is also something I told Kyra about the kiss as well, because I didn't want her to feel blindsided in that moment. But just to see his response, I knew that there was some emotions that may have been there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's pride or he actually genuinely cared. That's for him to say, but he definitely showed some that it bothered him a little bit.
Yeah.
So when he came out and said Liz told him, I was like, who? Because I was gonna sit here and have to tell you, and you may not like how I tell you, because anybody knows, like, sometimes I'm a straight shooter when I talk. No filter. I'm gonna tell you how it is, and it is what it is. So, and it's got me in trouble on set a lot of times, but that's just how I communicate. So yeah, that's
Jason, it was an interesting season, because that definitely, I want to come back to talk a little bit more about David, but I want to ask you with Kyra, because we didn't know that you told Kyra the kiss with Liz. It seemed like Kyra kind of felt a little bit blindsided by your connection with Liz. Do you feel like you were honest with her the entire time?
Wow. So before I even I'm so glad you asked this question. Absolutely. Again, I was very vocal, very transparent in my moves and the things that I said. So one of the very first conversations I had with Kyra was at the brunch. And I looked this woman in the face at that time, and I said, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to pursue you, but in the meantime, as I'm pursuing you, I want you to talk to other men. I want you to find out who's the best possible connection for you. But in the meantime, I'm going to, get to know you. But at the same time, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get to know other women. And I would just check in with you, and you check in with me, or whatever. So that's kind of how we started that journey in the show. But with the kiss with Liz, I called Kyra. I want to say that night. I told her, like, hey, look, I'm just letting you know I did this, because at the same time, it can be a double-edged sword. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. So you kind of got to pick your poison.
Yeah.
Don't tell them, and you have the strongest connection with that person, and they find out through somebody else, that can probably put you in a hot seat.
Yeah, we saw that happen to Joelle.
Yeah, so yeah, for real. Hey, the energy, that's real. So it's better, like, for me, I thought it'd be better to communicate what happened. Even with that, I even told Liz, me and Liz talked, because in that moment, that date, of course, I'm happy that I went on that first date with Liz at the Ferris wheel. But we both understood who our strongest connections were in that moment. We had a great conversation. It was just an icebreaker, and it was a really good date, man. That was a good date.
It was a good day. Did you plan that day, or did production set that date up?
No, so here's the truth. I have been bugging them, because most of my dates early on has been with Kyra. I gotta be honest.
Yeah. We saw Jason. We saw.
Yeah, and with Chrysanthemum.
Okay.
So I was bugging them, like, yo, I gotta get a date with Liz. Y'all gotta put me on a date with Liz. Man, I want a date with Liz. I'm like 2-3 times a day. And finally I get this date, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I don't know if all I know is I was bugging for it, but no, I didn't. The way it kind of works sometimes, either they'll ask you where you want to go.
Okay.
Set it up because this was a time where COVID, Houston was still kind of locked down.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of make the dates for you. Just let them know who you want to go on a date with. And if you have any suggestions,
gotcha.
You let them know. So she was definitely somebody I wanted to go to, but they
put it together.
Yeah.
Well, what they couldn't put together, if you guys are just joining us, we are talking with, I'm going to call them the hashtag Love Wins couple from Ready to Love, because we know they're together. It's not a spoiler. They're together on social media. We're not spoiling the reunion that's going to come on tomorrow on OWN at 10 Eastern. So you guys definitely have to tune in for that, because there's some other stuff that happens that we're not even going to get into tonight. But we wanted to make sure that we talk to this couple, Jason and Liz. We're having a great conversation. People are loving the conversation with the two of them. What you can't fake and what production can't create was the way that we saw you guys look at each other. And that is consistent tonight. We see that, just in you guys' interaction tonight. So I want to go back to you, Liz. Let's go through a couple more hard questions about this David situation, because that ended up being, it was a strong connection for you. And then it turned into something that was really, really like, I think beyond a red flag, like just dysfunction. People were like, wow, the way he responded to you. It's a good thing that you were honest, because it allowed you to really see his true character, and the fact that he really, really, at least in my opinion from watching it, wasn't ready to love, because we saw him tell other people and was fine with them. But when it came to you sitting him down, his behavior was really like off the wall. So I want to ask you, how did you feel about that transition? Because we saw you guys really connect, and then all of a sudden there was a disconnect, and then just a huge breakdown, and a little bit disrespectful, it seemed. So take us through that from your perspective.
Okay, so my goodness.
Just remember.
Okay.
Certain things.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'll
let you know.
Let me know. He's keeping me accountable.
Get through. Okay.
So, okay. Yeah, I mean, great connection with David. I to this day do believe that he is a good guy. I don't think that no one on the show were bad people. I really don't.
Yeah.
But just whether or not that person is for you, that's the question. And we found that out that he was not for me. And so, there was a lot of things. We had a strong connection. But there was inconsistency with David. And we talked, contrary to what's been said, we have talked several times, okay? Not just one time or two times on the phone. Me and David talked multiple times on the phone. We would text. We had this little thing that when it was time we weren't supposed to do this, but deliberation time, if women had deliberation or men, we would call each other up. Hey, what, everything good? We was checking in on each other all the time. And they would do that. And we would do that. We would talk. We had an extensive conversation about before the masquerade ball. And, I talked to him and asked him what his favorite color was. We had this, we really had this strong.
Go ahead.
Baby, what?
No, I'm laughing.
So, you go be stopping.
Because I ain't gonna lie, it was, never mind.
I'm trying to finish my story. Go ahead. So anyway, we had, a real connection. But inconsistency started to come in, when, hey, I would text you, or call you, didn't hear nothing from you till the next day. You wouldn't respond to the next day. And I'm like, okay. So, but I gave benefit of doubt because I understood, he's running a business. He has children and he's doing a show. So that was that leeway. And I even told Tommy at the masquerade ball, this part wasn't seen, but I was like, I really am feeling David, but he's inconsistent in these areas. I'm working with him through it. And so when you saw at the friends date, everything was fine at the date off camera. However, he threw me under the bus.
Yeah.
And when that moment happened, and there was something else that happened that I said but wasn't shown. So after he threw me under the bus and was like, hey, you know, oh, you saw Jason, did you kiss him again? After all that, I'm shocked. I'm like, wait, no, do they know about it? And he was like, oh, I'm hearing it. And you know, he does this, and you know, and I'm having to explain to his friends. Now, this is the first time I'm meeting y'all. Come on now, boy. You probably already told them, but okay. And even within that part, there was a point in that conversation where at the time I was Android, I wasn't iPhone, right? And so they were making jokes, hey team, iPhone, we the best, we rocking with the best, you know, saying like, you know, having fun.
Right.
Like throwing slugs. I like, oh, so Jason must have an Android too. Like slugs. And I'm sitting, yeah, but they're saying that, and I was so freaking uncomfortable. And I left that dinner or that lunch, whatever it was. I had something in my spirit, just was not. I was like, it was just the uneasiness, and it just bothered me. And then the next day, that's when I found out the liberations, and he did what he did, and you know, child, so much. I'm not lying.
People in the comments, people are asking why people continue to protect David, because that behavior is very. I mean, it's very petty. It's very childish. Like to not let a person talk, to talk loud. Like that was. Do you guys feel like that was kind of? And I asked Tommy about it when I interviewed Tommy. I asked Tommy about it. He said that he was disappointed in the way he did that, the way he handled that.
Yeah. He made that known to he made that known. But definitely, it was very disappointing. And the thing is that he was not honest with me about his feelings. We had a conversation after I told him about the kiss, and I told him, I told him that there you go. I told him, hey, if this changes my position with you, let me know. Be upfront and honest.
Yeah.
Let me know. I said, if you decide, you know, you kiss someone. Okay, cool. If you decide, he'll be right back. If you decide, you know what I'm saying, to kiss someone else, I'm not gonna trip off of that.
Yeah.
That's not open and honest that
that you were. Do you think that because I would say I would see it that way. David seemed like he was super into you, and then when he heard that, he flipped.
I do.
You think that he changed his energy towards you because you were being open in the process and you were entertaining other people?
Yes, I personally do believe that. Nothing happened, but I do believe that. I also believe, honestly, that it's a possibility he was stringing me along so I could eventually get eliminated.
Wow.
Yeah, because there were times where I had the honest communication. Now, I never asked anybody if I was their number one. I just never asked that question.
Yeah.
So once should I say, is this going to reveal it for tomorrow?
I did. Go ahead.
Okay. Once I figured out that I was no longer his number one, I asked several times.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to ask you, Jason.
Yeah.
That's so weird because a lot of the women have put pressure on the guy. There was a whole thing back and forth with Stacy and Chrysanthemum, and then we saw Kyra coming at you. How do you feel? Did you feel like it's fair for women to constantly ask, "Am I your number one? Am I your number one?" through the process? Because I mean, obviously, we're on a dating show and we're supposed to date multiple people. So I like the way Liz did it, where she just showed up and she was just herself. Because it seemed like a lot of the other women were very, very focused on what about her? What about her? What about her? That's got to be difficult. Like I said, I could never go on a dating show because I would be wondering, what are you doing? But asking that and constantly trying to make a person tell you, it seems like you're just not gonna get the best out of the situation. What's your thought on the way some of the women handled that?
So for me, actually, it kind of helps with showing who's actually competing and who's being transparent. Because if you work if you worried about number one, that's one thing I don't say. I always said that this is the person I have the strongest connection with.
Okay.
And so if you're constantly who's number one, who's number two, who's number three, you're
Yeah.
competing. You're not worried about building your own connection. If you know that you're saying the things that you need to say, you're going on these dates the way that you need to, you're being open, you're having great conversations. You don't have to worry about that. That's one thing I would say. I was very comfortable in my position throughout from the very beginning of the show to the very end. Because no matter what date that I went on with any woman, I knew that I had great conversation and I was able to connect with them.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just more so finding out, digesting the information from the dates and the women, which woman was best for me.
Right.
So to kind of go back to what you asked, it does put pressure on it, and because it's just a lot of times it's hard because you got cameras in your face.
Yeah.
You know, you have this, you got 10 guys over here, and what is it, 10 women over here, and you constantly hearing number one, number two. So it's like, oh, I just want to, hey, look, hi, my name's Jason, and you are, so just saying, it's a little nerve wracking,
Yeah.
But again, if you're smart and wise, you're able to depict from the people competing versus the people who are there genuinely. And so,
okay. On that note,
yeah,
on that note, so Kyra, that was one of you guys' conversations. Do you feel like Kyra was competing because she would press you a lot, and she would not tell you how what she felt. She kept saying, I want to continue the process. I want you to allow me to go through the whole process, which was Kyra played the game beautifully. Played the game beautifully. But I wonder, when you looking back on this, do you feel like she was competing or playing the game, or do you think she was authentic?
Ooh, see, because I know so much.
Well, tell us what you know, Jason.
So I'm gonna be honest. In the very beginning, all the way to the middle, me and Kyra, I'm not gonna lie, we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of conversations, and she confided in me, her feelings. But I'll just put this out here like this. Towards the middle of the process, I think it was the episode where we're at the art gallery, and we end up kissing, and at that time during the process, I told her exactly how I felt. I told her that I was done with the process. If I had to leave with anybody today, it'd be you. And I basically told her, I choose you. And in that situation, what she told me was she wasn't ready, and that she named like 4 other men. And so at that time, I would just say this. This is what I told her. I said, all right, Kai, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a step back, and I'm gonna let you focus on those other men, because we went on X amount of dates.
Right.
Already know what you're getting with me. Figure out what you want. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mentally check back in and really get to know these women. And the other person I had a really strong connection with was Liz. So that's where my focus went to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it did kind of shift when you realized it hadn't clicked for her after you guys had, that's fair. That's fair. She said that she felt like we had her on the show, and she felt like she had really been authentic with you and showed her sides of you where she had opened up a lot more than with other people.
Yeah. So in her defense, so again, the conversations that we had and the things that we have done, we have been very open. There's things about her that she shared with me that she said she didn't share with other people. We've had a very intimate moment as far as just opening up and confiding in each other. Well, it didn't make the edits. However, that's her the person.
Yeah.
Versus her how she's moving. Those are two different distinctive things. So I had a problem with her movement. And when it all came, I want to say at the ranch, when I was asking her, of course, that conversation, there was a lot more to that conversation that, wasn't shown.
Right.
But when you see me in that moment, what I really said to her was, it's not about me anymore. At this moment, I just want to know, because in 1 hour, the men have to go in here and make their final decision.
Yeah.
And no one, it wasn't about me. I said, no one knows how you feel. Whether it's with this man, Ron, David, AJ, Chris, whoever it may be.
Right.
At this point, we're mid-30s, we're grown men and women. You should be able to articulate who you're feeling, if you're feeling anyone. And
right.
So that's what that was.
Liz, you handled yourself very well when Kyra obviously felt some kind of way about the fact of you guys, of Jason picking you. And at one point it felt, I'm gonna say, for me as a woman, I would have felt a little disrespected. And people said that, and you handled yourself really well. What was your thoughts about that? About the way she kind of, I mean, she obviously, we saw her press.
You know this. This is messy.
No, I because she did acknowledge that. I guess it was time when Jason said something, she laughed. It just felt a little bit disrespectful, because you had kind of taken the high road quite a bit.
Yeah.
How did you feel, and how were you able to keep, or did you see it that way? I don't want to put words.
No, I did. I think I said it in my confessional, that it was very disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the fact that she tried to belittle our relationship. And here's the thing: there are some things that were not shown in that actual that segment, and a couple of things that she said. And you have the right to feel the way you want to feel.
Right.
Hey, that's cool. But when you try to belittle my relationship with this, I got an issue with that. And so here's the thing: he didn't belong to anybody.
Facts.
Because we're in the dating process.
Right. We're on a show. We're on a whole
show, right. And we're actually dating each other. We're not a couple yet. We're getting to know people. So almost make it seem like he played you or whatever, and down. No, he made a decision, and it is what it is. I had to make a decision, and it is what it is. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you second, you default," and you said, "No." Strongest connection, our connection grew. Yes. We realized that our first connections that we hadn't developed, they were not meant for us. And we naturally grew, and we naturally gravitated to each other. And that's what that was. So I definitely felt disrespected. She, and there was a couple of things she mentioned, and I'm like, well, to me, what made sense, if you got your number one, number two, for sake of a better term or whatever. But it would make sense for a man to run game on his number one chick to get to his number two. That don't make sense to me. So I don't think that was it. And my thing was like, okay, well, he's always been upfront and honest, brutally honest with me.
Oh, y'all don't know.
Y'all don't know. There was a scene that was edited out where he was like, Liz, Kyra's not strong. Straight. Right, on a double date. And I was like, and he was going on and on, and I was like, okay, dude, I understand, that's cool. You ain't got to keep going on. I'm sitting right next to you. And he felt bad. I know, baby. He was just being honest. And
he was being honest. Like you guys are both very honest people.
Very honest. And he's always told me, where he stood. He always, and the one thing that can I say this, baby?
I'm gonna stop you. Go ahead and say it.
He's open and honest, and sometimes his honesty comes out, or he might not. He'll be thinking something, and it comes out a little different.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know that about him. I've experienced that about him, but he's always been open and honest, and so that did make me. I didn't like that. And then something was mentioned about she said, well, Liz. No disrespect to you, Liz, but Liz is a safe choice. I feel like he's going with the safe choice versus taking the risk on love. But I'm like, what man?
What love?
Hold on. What man want to take a risk on something complicated? Like, you want something safe. Who wouldn't when you're putting your heart out on the line, do you want your heart to just be, it didn't make sense to me. So I'm sorry. I felt disrespected. But I will say this. I respect Kyra. I really do. I think she's smart. I think she's a great woman. Kyra actually reached out to me. We had a phone conversation, and she apologized for that because she said that wasn't her heart's intent. At the time, that's how I felt. And so when we actually got a chance to talk, it's all love. Everything is all
good. I love to hear that. That's good because she did acknowledge that she was wrong. Then it seemed like she just couldn't understand that Jason didn't choose her. That's what it looked like. She just really couldn't fathom that because of maybe the connection that they had. But this show has got to be difficult in that way. I'm going to move on to something else. But I appreciate you guys going through those rough questions. Jason, you talked about depression and just dealing with things. And there's a scene in the man cave. That's one of my favorite parts about this show because I think the show obviously has a large audience of females that watch. And a lot of times women don't know what's going on in y'all. We don't know what's going on in y'all's heads. So there's a scene where you said that you broke down and you said to hear all this positive about me is something that is different for me. I don't always have that. And I remember thinking, wow, I'm surprised to hear him say that. He obviously is accomplished, had a nonprofit, obviously, people are bringing their children to you. I'm surprised that you don't hear positive things, that you don't have that fed back into you. Can you talk about what you meant by that? And do you think women understand how much men need to hear positivity or need to have positivity sold into them as well?
Honestly, yeah. So for me, I believe that givers don't get acknowledged a lot because that's not why we do what we do. And for me, growing up, even young man, teenager, whatever, when you look on TV, you don't see a lot of positive role models, strong men, honest men, men who are articulate. The list just goes on. And so, in that moment when I was on that, I want to say was a double date, friends date, whatever it was, Liz and Kyra was there, and to listen to these two women, the questions that they were asking, the questions that my friends were asking, and there was a part where, I don't know if it was you or Kyra, but one of them asked my friends, what type of man is Jason? And to hear my friends, these are people like Latrell, we worked together for 2 years. Karanda, that's a family friend. I've known her. She's about to get married, and I've known her 8-9 years. And to hear their input back, and then turn around, that question was asked to the ladies, and they say they're the same thing verbatim, and it's like, wow, I'm really am that guy. I'm not used to hearing it. I'm always on the go. I'm always helping. I'm always doing this. And I guess I don't take out enough time to hear if somebody is saying something. Another thing that came out was with Alexis. I didn't know that she felt that way at all.
Yeah.
And so you're hearing all these positive feedbacks of people you've known and people you may not know that well, and so it caught me off guard. So I hope that answers that question.
Do you feel like men need to hear that more? You need that sewn into you more?
Yes, I definitely think that men need to hear that more, because today what's promoted is, if you can't buy me this, if you can't do this, if you don't make this much, if you can't, then I'm not going to waste my time with you, So to be in a situation when it's not about those things and you get to judge me off of my character straight up, and I get to hear that from you. And not saying that Liz is like that or Kyra is like that. They're both very smart and articulate, successful women, but still, judge me off of my character. That's something that Martin Luther said. So, I feel like they need to hear that more. Joel broke down. When
it's that scene. I had a great interview with Tommy about that. I think that is one of the best things about this show, is that we get a chance to see men support each other, and we also get a chance to hear their heart when they're together, so they feel safe. I watched one of your lives, Jason, where you were talking about someone had reached out to you that was contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
And they felt comfortable reaching out to you because you did share that you had dealt with depression. At this point, I don't understand who hasn't dealt with depression. I feel like that's something we all have dealt with, and everybody, it comes out in different ways. Can you talk a little bit about, because I'm sure that's not the only person that's reached out to you, but I was touched because you actually like created this live and had this conversation just for them, because it was really specific to that, I guess, to that message, but I'm sure it helped other people as well. And you seem like you're comfortable with talking about that from your perspective. So can you talk a little bit more? Someone in the chat just said Jason talked about depression. I deal with that daily. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that is what really helps people. It's great that you guys find love and we're entertained, but the other things that people are dealing with stuff on a daily basis, and when real people that they see are dealing with it and conquering it, I think that helps people a lot. So share with us, how did you feel comfortable sharing that, and how have you been able to deal with your own issues?
Oh yeah, so I think that's really just my upbringing, just starting, because my journey was long. Where I started and who I am today, like, nah. So one of the things I had to learn as an individual was I had to always check myself and always be open-minded and be honest with myself. And in that mindset, I'm an open book. You can put me in a room full of people and y'all can drill me, and I'm gonna answer all those questions to the best of my ability. So I'm very Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? It happened. Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. Okay. Anyway,
so true.
So with that, I'm a problem solver. So if you come to me, you need something. If it's financial, if it's academic, if it's just wisdom, I'm gonna give you that. And so I'm very open because people need to hear these things. I'm a human. I've been through things that I overcome. I don't have a perfect past, and just knowing that in the platform that I'm on, if you reach out to me and you don't know me and you say to me, man, I was contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
Man, that says that's a dire situation that you reach out to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
TV. So I felt like it was befitting of me to get on live and have that dialogue with that person. Of course, other people chimed in and listened, but it became something like, hey, look, I'm saying this to you, but if there's anyone else that needs to hear this, here it is. I'm not a social media guy. I just became one with this. I think I had like 100 followers for like 3-4 years.
Like 120 some followers.
Yeah, so I'm seeing that, okay, I'm on this platform. People are reaching out for this, and I have it. Let me speak on it. I have something to say. This is what I do for a living with kids anyway. So
yeah, it matters more when it comes across better when it's authentic. So
yeah,
we appreciate that. What have you guys learned about each other since taping stopped? Because I ain't gonna lie, most couples, this show, people will stay together, and then when the taping stops, they're not together, or they realize, when the cameras are off, all that excitement goes away. What have you guys learned about each other and your relationship since all that hoopla stopped and you got back to reality?
You go first.
I knew you were gonna do that. I was like, I just talk. One of the things that so with me, I've had this conversation with Liz. When you're filming, of course, everything that you see on the show is real. Like, that's actual real dialogue. Those are real dates. Now, if you act a butt, they're gonna film that. If you have a good date, they're gonna film that. Now they may chop things up, but for the most part, no, that's you.
Yeah.
So but the difference is when the cameras are not rolling, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
And you can now get to see who you are without, because there's certain questions that I would ask you in the dark, versus in front of the world. So that's what I've been able to get out of Liz. There's just certain things I wouldn't ask her, on TV, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same thing. So for me, my primary focus is to really get to know her, financially, spiritually, physically, all these things, you know, and I get a chance to just, it's all to myself now, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Liz.
I don't want to say too much.
Did we answer the question?
I don't know.
Did he answer your question?
I really
I mean,
I really did.
really?
No, Rich, do say it again, because
really
you got to answer this question, because I got to answer it too. Say it more.
So Jason, what have you learned about, you explained to us how the process has been since the cameras are off.
Right.
But what have you learned about her that you did not know before the cameras cut off? Like now in reality, what did you learn that you didn't know?
About her.
About her, yes.
This thing right here. No, don't lean back. This thing right here is crazy. She only look. She like roller coasters. We went on vacation. Oh, my bad. Nobody want to answer the question. Okay. So
I'm adventurous.
Yeah, we went somewhere, and we Six Flags. Went to Six Flags, and I'm thinking, okay, all right. She ain't really about that. She want to get on the biggest rides, sit at the front seat, and she's like, I'm sitting there like, man, yeah, hell yeah, boy, oh yeah. I'm like,
we didn't see that side of Liz. We did not see that side of Liz on the show.
You got a glimpse of it. You
look. They did a great job showing her as cool, calm, click.
Yeah, she was
this thing right here.
She was Michelle Obama the whole time.
She got spunk. She gonna speak her mind, and when you piss off, she gonna go, wait, hold on now, wait, what you mean, homie? Like that, that's her. She ain't, look, she aggressive as hell.
There we go.
So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but that's, you a lady too, so it ain't nothing. But
I'm
that's
well
really around it. But I'm gonna tell you something. She's not a pushover.
Yeah.
She listen. Watch how you come at her, because you might get a boom. You know. I tried to avoid it, but you want to get out specific with it, so hey, keep it a buck. Look. Your turn.
Come on, Liz. Come on. What have you learned about Jason that you did not know before when the cameras were rolling? What have you learned since then?
He's a lot like my father.
Okay.
Which is crazy. Like in the sense of sweet. It's weird because we are a lot alike, to be honest. Like he's very sweet, very nice, very, you know what I'm saying? Very considerate, but this one you cannot push over. He's not a pushover. It sounds like I'm saying the same thing he said about me, but no, seriously, it's real. Like he reminds me of my dad, and he's a protector.
I will shoot you. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, he's a protector. And
go ahead.
Can I say he's very affectionate. Like he holds me and tells me stories. It's like
movie stories, huh?
No, it's creative stories, and the affection that I receive from Jason is like, it just warms my heart. It's real, it's genuine. It's, I didn't get a chance to experience all that, on the show, like just a little with the white rose, all that. But
the white roses, the white rose moment, because it's crazy because it felt like your heart was so full at that moment. And I was like, wow, she's really touched by that. Is that what was going on in your head? Because you seem like, blown away at how he saw you when he mentioned, this is how I see you with the white roses. I was like, oh my goodness, is Liz gonna make it through?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I literally, like a week before, I cried because it was the week before was a very strenuous week for me. That was when I almost got eliminated. That stuff happened with David. This was when he was very brutally honest about, you know, his connection with Kyra and all that. Like, it was just, I was getting hit.
Yeah.
And then it was in the where I was almost eliminated when Ron was telling me this. You didn't see this, but he was like, "Oh, you know, some people are trying to figure out the men trying to figure out."
Right? There's a blizzard in between.
No, but yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
But in that meeting with Ron, he was telling me like, "Oh, well, we don't know if you're real. We don't know if you're just acting."
Right.
And I was just like, "Are you serious?" I set up here and poured out my heart to these Negroes, but you know, I stood up and told y'all everything, and you know, I cried out to God, and I cried to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm tired. I just want somebody to see me for who I am." I prayed to God, say, "God, I'm tired. I just need someone to see who I am. They need to see." And when he presented that white rose, it was like God answered my prayer, because what he did. And that's why I was just crying. And
Gotcha.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I cried more than what they showed. They spared me on that. But I mean, I wasn't like out of control. But it touched my heart, because I knew it was like God giving me a kiss on the cheek. Like, there you go, daughter.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I was like, when I saw the way you reacted, I was like, did he propose? Like, did I miss something? What is going on?
Hey, listen, when you have a 17-year journey, you stuff like that, you be like,
yeah. Well, I think I love the fact that we got a chance to experience that moment with you. I know we've been on for a long time, but people are still chiming in. I'm going to ask you guys a couple more questions and then let you guys go. So you
go ahead. We're not
get into whatever you got to get into. But Liz, tell us what that meant, because I had so many of my girlfriends text me when you said God didn't forget about me, right? Can you talk about that? Because again, I think the show is great, but it gives people a chance to see themselves and to find hope, right? I think people watch shows like this because they want to find hope. So can you share with us what you meant, what that meant to you?
Definitely. The 17-year journey, like I said before, is very hard. And it got to a point where I was mad at God.
That's
honestly. And the things that people would say, Liz, you're so beautiful. You should, you know, something must be wrong. She's crazy. And I'm sitting up here like, no, I don't have any daddy issues. I'm not crazy. I'm sane. But for whatever reason, God has not allowed me to enter into a relationship or what have you. I've done the work. I've worked on myself. I've corrected issues that I've had. I have stood in faith. And God, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm hurt because I don't understand. When people ask me this, I really cannot explain to you why in the totality. The only thing that I can say is that for whatever reason, God kept me in this incubation or whatever. And for this long. And I'm like, when this happened, like, you didn't forget about me. And I thought he did. It went to a point to where I just said, you know, I might not get married. None of this might not even happen.
Yeah.
I'm still, of course, having hope. We still have to see where our journey goes. But this is at least that first step to say, God, you didn't forget about me. I'm so
like you feel love. That is beautiful. And I think so many other women feel that way, but will not be honest about it. Right. Yeah. So I commend you for being just honest and just sharing that was a powerful moment. Jason, how did you feel when you watched that?
Oh man. In that moment, so I remember that day, I was actually running late because I was like, yo, let me go pick up, this rose. And the reason why I picked it up, I was talking to the producers before I walked on set, they're like, well, you're late, this and that, but it's cool. But the reason for me doing that was because you know, yeah, it's a dating show. Yeah, we get it. It's competition, this and that. But for me, you know, at that time when I chose her, I told Tom, you know, why I chose her. You know, I was doing some self-reflecting. I'm like, man, you know, the way that this woman is moving, you know, she has been honest. She's dealt with adversity. She's dealt with it with grace.
Yeah.
You know, just to piggyback on that David situation, it was a shock to us all. It was a shock to the world, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And when I initially saw it, I was like, damn, this is bad. But what made me feel good in that moment was watching how she handled it.
Yeah.
Any woman that I know, who you talking to, who would have just went smooth out, but she didn't humiliate him. She stood up. She you know, but she stood her ground. So I'm looking at all this, and you know, I'm thinking about the conversations that we had, and I remember another one because this wasn't on this didn't make the edits, but she had said something to me as far as, you know, she looked me in my face and she said, you know, I know your strongest connection is with Kyra. This is like in the middle, you know, and I know that me and David has had something going on, and you know, but things wasn't, you know, things started to unravel. And she said, you know, I want you. I'm looking at you. I'm pursuing. What did you say? You said,
yeah.
You said I'm going to make myself available to you. Is that how you said it? I'm going to make myself available to you because of the way you move and the way. And for me, to put that honesty out there, because if I was any other person, they'd be like, oh, I get to play games. This could be my safety net. You know, it made me sit back and think like, man, this girl sat here, shared her heart to me. She told me what her intentions were. And even though I know I'm over here and my strongest connection at this time was with Kyra, that really made me kind of sit back and think. Yeah. And so I'm reflecting on honesty, her pureness, her transparency, and her strength. And I'm like, man, you know, I don't see that every day in a woman. Like, it is what it is. I hope I don't offend anybody, but
no, that's real.
A lot of people don't move like that. And so I just wanted to honor her. And, you know, that is something that I started off with both my my stepmother and my mother, you know, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this to her because she, you know, she deserves this and she needs to be reminded. If no one's told her this, I'm going to tell it to her. So that was why I did it. Now, her response caught me off guard. You know, I didn't think she was going to cry and bawl. I say bawl because you put her head all in my chest. I'm like, wait, hold on. You know, but I'm happy that I did it, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I'll have to ask you because you are the leader in this relationship. I'm assuming this is a traditional. I'm saying that not to be offensive because I know the comments, people go crazy. I don't mean to be offensive. Yeah. I need to ask Jason as the man in this relationship. Where are we going? Where do you see this going? Where are we and where are we going?
I hear this question a lot. So, right now, she's the only person that I'm dating. I'm not dating anyone else. I don't want to date anyone else. I am exclusively getting to know her. And we're just taking this journey one day at a time, getting to know each other, and hopefully it leads to something greater, you know. But I just want to make sure that we both are at the same page, same level with this.
What do you want out of, I guess, from your love life? Do you desire marriage? Do you desire children? Do you desire, what do you want?
Yeah, so eventually, ultimately, yeah, I would like to, you know, for a relationship to lead to marriage and have children. Of course, a little bunch of little Jasons running around here, but you know, I have to be real. Like in today's time, you have to be very careful, and you want to take out the time to invest in people, get to know them, you know, their background, and you know who they say that they are. Sorry about that, y'all. So, you know, with this journey that me and Liz shares, you know, and share as far as how we met on national TV. So it's a little unorthodox, you know, so the movement is a little bit different, but strong woman, great woman, smart woman, has a lot to offer, God fearing, you know, and she's strong. Yeah. And so she has all the accolades of a wife, you know. So we got to see where this journey takes us one day at a time.
One day at a time. Liz, Where are we going? And now you guys have been hinting, so you know I have to ask. You've been hinting about something happening in August.
It's not marriage. No, that's too soon. It's not marriage.
Okay. Give us a little bit of something. What's happening? What are we looking for? What should we be on the lookout for?
So we're putting together an event. It's called the Battles of the Couples. And it's going to be sponsored by my nonprofit, and we're going to promote, couples to come out, compete against one another, other couples, and just, it's a fundraising event, to promote, relationships in our communities, and just to get people out. COVID hit us really hard. A lot of programs that closed because of it, and it's just, hello Houston, we back at it. So promoting, relationship building and all that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have to say this: if you have any announcements, we're going to ask you. Please come back and share. It's a chat full of people suggesting that there's engagements and all types of things so just keep us in the know. Is that fair? Y'all just keep us in the know. Liz, reach out to us. Let us know how things are going. We are really rooting you guys. We're really rooting you guys on because it felt good to see somebody that really felt like they wanted love and wanted a real relationship. So we're invested. We are invested.
The pressure is on.
Last question to both of you guys. Is there anything that you learned about yourself that you want to kind of like amend or bring a little correction to? Anything that you saw through the process? Because one of the things that most people say from this show, even people that don't find love, is they learn a lot more about themselves just going through the process. So I'll start with Liz. What did you learn about yourself? Good or bad, or anything that you say, wow, I didn't realize that about myself, but this process brought that out.
Something that I didn't realize. Let me see. I knew this, but it was like really tested. I worked really well under pressure.
Okay.
And it's like I saw that even more so in this process, working really well under just extreme pressure. And so because there was moments where I was gonna self-eliminate. I was like, I'm out of here. I don't feel like dealing with this. Pride kicked in. I was like, I'm about to go. So I was like, no, just stick it out. You never know what God has in store. And so that, and plus I'm stronger than what I give myself credit for. I'm a lot stronger. I know I'm strong, but I'm a lot stronger than what, I give myself credit for from time to time.
Nice. Very nice. Jason, what did you learn about Jason?
Yeah, so I learned that, no matter what situation that you find yourself in, always be yourself. I always knew these things, but I got a chance to see just how important that is. To always be yourself, stand by the words that you say, and don't allow anybody to change any decisions that you have made for your life or anything.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of, believe it or not, you see a lot of that behind the scenes here, a lot of pressure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let people know where they can follow you guys so they can keep up with the Battle of the Couples and where they can just keep tabs on you guys both, supporting you guys both individually, but also as a couple. How can we find you?
Go first.
Oh, you can.
Because I got to remember my IG because I changed.
It's your name.
Oh, it is? Okay, I forgot.
That's okay, baby. You can follow me on Instagram at Liz Rachelle, LIZRACHELLE. I'm also Liz Rachelle on Facebook. I'm not that good at Twitter, but it's Liz Rachelle and the number 1.
Nice.
I don't even know what my Twitter name is.
Jason Hearns.
Okay, you can follow me on Facebook, Jason Hearns. Keep it nice and simple.
Jason Hearns.
HURNS is my last name, and also on IG.
Jason Hearns.
Jason Hearns. No asterisk, just straight Jason Hearns. Again, yeah, Battle of the Couples come out. We will be posting more information about, the actual dates, the time, the actual venues and things. We'll have clothes you can buy. We'll have, food trucks. We'll have the, entertainment, meet and greet the cast, just a whole little venue set up for you guys. So look for that. Also, check out my website, www.iyamm.org.
Yes.
Support us if you like to make some donations, if you like to buy some apparel, it's there. We'll be starting that back up soon.
Yes.
So it is.
Also, I want to also say I have an event coming up. It's a Women's Empowerment Summit coming up August 28th. I will be sharing more details soon. But you can also go to my website at www.gloriousimageproductions.com.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you guys both publicly, I appreciate it. And if you want to come back and promote your event, either one of you, please feel free to do that. We would love to have you come back and share and promote that outside. We had to get through all this Radio Love stuff, but if you would like to come back and promote that, feel free. We would definitely love to have you guys. Again, we appreciate the honesty, great conversation, and we look forward to seeing the remainder of part 2 of the reunion on tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Woo!
Yeah. Definitely, you guys can do that. Thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Liz and Jason.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, you guys, I thank you guys for hanging out. We had a great time. Almost 1,500 of you tuned in tonight. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please subscribe. Hopefully we can get them to come back and talk about the Battle of the Couples. That's going to be interesting. So hopefully we'll be able to invite one or both of them to come back and talk a little bit more about that. But I thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with me right here on Rolling Out. And we will be back on Monday with more Ready to Love, and actually some Love and Marriage Huntsville. So you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you guys on Monday.